Hey guys, today I have swatches of the Lights Lacquer Zodiac collection. There are 12 polishes here altogether for each Zodiac sign. I will link the Lights Lacquer website down below because these are available right now. I do have an affiliate code with Lights Lacquer, which I will put up on the screen and down in the description box. 12 polishes here altogether, and I'll get into the swatches. So also Lights Lacquer has these celestial nail charms that just came out. They're cute. There's a lot of fun shapes in here. The jar is a little shallow. It is $8 for the jar, but there is still a lot of charms in there. And they also recently released some nail art tools, dotting tools, some brushes, and a wax pencil. And I also try to recognize the work that goes into designing boxes for these collections, so here is the box. There's also a nice little detail on the caps for the bottles of this collection as well. So the first polish here is called Aries, and this is described as a holographic raspberry red. Great formula on this one. It was nearly a one coater, but not quite there. I still had a little bit of nail line showing, but it was very, very minor. This has a really nice scattered holographic in it, and I also like that there's like two different sizes of holographic particles, so it gives it a little bit more dimension. This covered easily for me in 2 coats, and because the holographic in here is more of a holographic pigment, not a glitter, there's no texture here and it will not be difficult to remove. So that is 2 coats of Aries. The next polish is called Taurus, and this is described as a dusty matcha green. The formula on here feels pretty good, and it was fairly easy to apply. However, it was moderately streaky and sheer on that first coat. It was okay on the second coat, but there were definitely still some streaks. Those were more obvious after it dried, and they were more obvious in person than they were on camera. Those streaks did seem to cover completely for me in a third coat, and this did dry a little bit darker than it was when it was wet. So that is 3 coats of Taurus. The next polish is called Gemini, and this is described as an electric lime yellow. This is a jelly, so it is definitely sheer. It's not totally even on the first coat, but I don't think it's too egregious considering that it is a neon lime yellow jelly. Some of those streaks did chill themselves out a little bit after the polish dried and settled, and it did also dry matte. It covered pretty well on the second coat, but not completely, so I did end up adding a third. I could still see my nail line pretty clearly after that third coat dried, but the streaks were completely evened out. So that is 3 coats of Gemini. The next polish is called Cancer, and this is described as a light periwinkle with slight pearlescent silver. This is a bit sheer with some streaks on that first coat. The formula does feel pretty good though. The shimmer that's in here is very, very subtle, but it does start to stand out a little bit better after everything dries. This covered well enough for me in 2 coats. I didn't really feel like I needed a third, but if I looked really closely, I could definitely see some flaws. So 3 coats might be on the table for you with this one. So that is 2 coats of Cancer. The next polish is called Leo, and this is described as orange with pink shift and fine holographic glitter. This is a pretty sheer shimmer polish. I think this could definitely be used as a topper. It's certainly even enough, but I did want to try it on its own. This actually built really well on that second coat for how sheer it was on the first. I think you could easily get away with 2 coats here if you really wanted to, but in person I could still see some nail lines, so I did add a third coat. Looking back at the footage, it wasn't nearly as obvious as it was in person, but the third coat actually didn't really change it that much, so I'd probably just stick with 2 coats here. So that is 2 coats of Leo. The next polish is called Virgo, and this is described as a deep teal with emerald green shimmer. This covered really well on the first coat. The formula is fantastic, and the shimmer in here is really, really nice. I did need a second coat to cover some uneven spots, but it did cover completely for me in 2 coats. The shimmer in this almost looked a little bit shifty in the bottle, but I didn't see it super well on my nails. So that is 2 coats of Virgo. The next polish is called Libra, and this is described as a pink-red jelly with rainbow glitter. So they described this as rainbow glitter. I was under the impression that it was just chunkier silver holographic glitter. I could be wrong because it is in a red base and that can throw you off, but I think it's just silver holographic. Good formula and good coverage on this one. I do feel like it could have had like a little bit more glitter in it. I did have to float my brush a little bit on the first coat just to keep the glitter from swiping back off of my nail, but that wasn't an issue with the second coat because, you know, the glitter and the polish in the first coat gives you a little bit of grip on the second coat. So this did cover completely for me in 2. You will have some texture because the glitter is a little bit chunky and it will be more difficult to remove. So that is 2 coats of Libra. The next polish is called Scorpio, and this is described as a deep black cherry. There's not a ton to say about this. It's a cream polish. It's a very nice cream polish. So good formula, good coverage on that first coat. It was a little bit uneven. I did end up adding a second because I needed more color. The second coat did even everything out and cover completely for me, so no complaints here. So that is 2 coats of Scorpio.
The next polish is called Sagittarius, and this is described as a bright plum with blue and pink shift. This actually covered pretty well on the first coat. I was expecting this to be much more sheer than it was, but it covered very nicely, good formula, and covered pretty evenly as well. This was fully opaque for me in 2 coats, and once I got that second coat on, that pink shimmer really stood out. So that is 2 coats of Sagittarius. The next polish is called Capricorn, and this is described as a black with golden green shimmer. I have a crack in my nail and everything is getting very stained from all these dark colors, so please enjoy looking at that for the next few polishes. This reminded me of like a deep olive green version of Virgo. Great formula, fantastic coverage, not quite a 1-coater, but very, very close. It did cover completely for me in 2 coats, and you won't have any texture because that shimmer is very, very fine. So that is 2 coats of Capricorn. The next polish is called Aquarius, and this is described as a deep royal blue with multicolored shimmer. It's holographic. I don't know why Aries was described as holographic and this one wasn't. This was another great formula, very even, very easy to apply, and just a tiny bit sheer on the first coat. I could just see a little bit of nail line, so I did add a second coat, and it covered completely for me with that second. So that is 2 coats of Aquarius. The next polish is called Pisces, and this is described as a soft seafoam blue. I was worried about the formula on this one. I did not think that it was going to be good, but this is actually really, really good. The formula was very, very good and self-leveling. It was just a little bit uneven on that first coat, but that's nothing out of the ordinary for a color like this, and it easily covered completely in 2 coats. So that is 2 coats of Pisces.
You know, I'm really, really digging Libra. I don't know what it is. Usually fall, like October, November is not really a, oh my gosh, I want to wear like bright, sparkling, holographic glitter time for me. But this is the one that stood out the most, I think, because the glitter is very large and you really get a lot of that holographic sparkle in there. I don't know, this one just stood out to me as my favorite. I don't dislike the rest of the collection, but I think this one is the most special. But I will say, honorable mention to Taurus, which is this nice khaki green color, nice khaki green cream. This is like, I really, really like colors like this, and this is a really solid one. So that is the Lights Lacquer Zodiac collection. I will link the Lights Lacquer website down below. Again, I do have an affiliate code with Lights Lacquer, which I'll put over here and in the description box. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.